Howdy, y'all. Welcome to Hazenboro Craftworks here on the Hazenboro Homestead and our humble whiskey room. I'm the Alchemist. Merry Christmas, y'all. It's finally Christmas Eve, but is it really? Because I tell you what, like I mentioned on Monday, holy moly, has this month flying by? Flying by? Is that a word? Flown by? It flew by. It went fast. Whatever the right way to say it is, it went fast, that's for sure. In fact, this whole year went fast. Can hardly believe we're already coming towards the end of the year. New Year's Eve is coming up soon. New Year's Day, we're already in January. But I tell you what, it's been a good year so far. Blessed to have you all with me here today. We're blessed for what this season's all about. And we're blessed to have this series of whiskey here today. A gift given to me by a selfless person, my buddy Jeremy. Someone whose kindness and generosity isn't just once a year at the year of Christmas, this season of giving, but it's all year round. And it's, in my Bourbonata community that I'm in, he shows his generosity and giving. He's a pillar of that community, showing that spirit in so many different ways. But it's not just there. It's not just to me as a friend. It's not just in that community. But Jeremy is in the occupational therapy business, and I tell you what, this gentleman in that business, he gives of himself tirelessly and daily, and sometimes that job is thankless. And Jeremy, he doesn't quit. He's always giving. He's always giving of himself. He's helping people relearn how to live their lives on a daily basis. And this is a type of giving that some of us, don't even know. And yet he does it. He does it every day. And Jeremy is a tremendous individual. He's an individual of rich and deep character. Someone who I respect the utmost. And when I speak of character, I'd have to think that when we look at today's bottle of Heaven's Door Revelation, I'd have to think that character is what Mr. Bob Dylan had in mind when he made this 100 proof bottle of double barrel whiskey. And when I say that, he was thinking of character, is because Mr. Dylan took 3 different individual whiskeys and blended them together to try to come up with a complexity of flavors to build that character. But he didn't stop there. If you remember, or if you tuned in even to Monday's video, we left off with Mr. Dylan and that spark that ignited his torch, and how that intense heat helped him mold and bend and twist and start to put together his gate, and then finally put together his huge gate and all the different pieces of metal. And as he did that, and we talked about his obsession with building these gates, and as he did that, he then began to see all the gaps and the openings in the gate. And then he became focused on these gaps. and that light that let in, and the beauty um, of the gaps, and what that could mean, and then how that then related to the whiskeys. And then when you brought that into the whiskey itself, he started to think about how this could relate to the whiskey and how he can make a whiskey different and give it character, like the gaps in the gate give that gate character and make it different. And so he challenged his crew to do something different with the barrel. And that's where the double oak comes in, or the double barrel, I should say, comes in. And what he did is he actually came up with a toasted char barrel. And this toasted char barrel is a barrel that is toasted first. And so they bring that in, that slowly bring up the heat in the barrel until it becomes intense, toasting that barrel first. And this is something that no one that I know of yet does in the industry, or at least they didn't do it before Mr. Dillon did this, challenging his people to do something different, just the way he does something different with these gates, bringing in the chains and the equipment from the gears and things like this from the old implements, and bringing them together to bring a thing of beauty. He's doing the same thing to bring a thing of beauty into his and character into his whiskeys. And so after they toast that barrel, drawing out the sugars from that white American oak, then they char it. And they do an alligator char, that number 4 char, to give it that an intensity on this one. So as we look at the Revelation, he's got the 3 different whiskeys, and one of those whiskeys is a rye whiskey blended in here to give it some spice and some character. And now he's got that barrel that's toasted and alligator char. So let's see what we've got besides a nice color to it. And I've been giving it a little bit of air. Roll it a little bit here. Coats the glass nicely. Legs coming down. Some over here a little bit quicker than others. Some nice and slow over here. But the coating is still there. So it looks like a nice viscosity to it. I'm going to go in for an initial nose, but as usual, I'm going to do my sips, because I've always got to do my sips to acclimate both my palate and nose, because to me they're all connected. Oh my. Getting some nice spices on the nose right away. And what seems to be a nice brown sugar. Cleanse my palate, go in for my usual sips. A medium viscosity right off the bat. From what I remember on Monday, a similar heat, even though this is a little bit higher proof. This is 100. And if I remember Mondays correctly, that was like 92? Yep, 92 proof. Similar heat on the palate. I'm enjoying the spice on this. I'm getting some nice rye spice, and what I'm liking about that rye spice note I'm getting is a nice, cool, herbal freshness. Going in for another sip yet? I'm really liking that rye spice, fresh, cooling mintiness in there. That's combined with, like, if you're melting. To me, it's more. It's got a hint of a caramel, but to me, it's more if you are melting brown sugar with butter. I get more brown sugar on the nose, but when I get it on the palate and I'm licking my lips, there's a hint of butteriness. Yeah, and that brown sugar and that melting brown sugar. And I love where that heat, I really love where that heat lands on the tip of the palate. I say this in a lot of my videos that I do for any of y'all that watch me, or for any of y'all who are new tuning in. I love it when it just lands on the tip of my tongue. I really enjoy that in a whiskey. Don't know why, it's a personal preference. And this hits it right there. I do have to say, though, as it begins to finish, I am getting just a bit of a drying effect. And I am getting, with that drying effect, a very nice barrel note. Very nice barrel note. And as much as I like barrel on a whiskey, it is nice to finish with that barrel. And along with that, a bit of that brown sugar sweetness lingers with that barrel, but that barrel is a bit more prominent. However, in the very back of the palate lingers that cooling mental or minty freshness. I tell you what, Mr. Dillon, he well, he knew what he was doing on this one. He knew what he was doing for this one. I mean, there's layers of complexity in this one. I'd have to contribute that to the three different whiskeys he blended here, and that barrel. And what I love about toasting it, and then that alligator char with the barrel lingering and coming in the end. It comes in at the end, and it lingers, and it is nice. Now, you do have to be prepared for it to dry your palate a bit, because it does do that. But with as nice as that barrel note is, with that alligator char, really nicely done. And I was expecting a little bit with that toast, the toasted barrel first. for there to be a little bit of graham and marshmallow, but no, to me it comes more out with it's a brown sugar, but it's pleasant, it's nice. A brown sugar and butter as I lick my lips. Really, really nice. It's well done. I This is one that I'll look for this revelation and see if I can find something bigger than a 200 ml bottle. This is a nice one. Complex, very well done. More rice spice on the nose, brown sugar on the nose. Very light hint of that mintiness on the nose. Well, was that good? That's good. Again, Merry Christmas to you all. I hope your Christmas day tomorrow is as good as this whiskey, or even better. And as you all know, I'd love to have you all coming back around. So please, take it easy. Don't drink and drive. Cheers.